I'm Realtor Deb Tomorrow, and this is At Home in Bloomington, brought to you by Karen Russell, Ruoff Home Mortgage. We profile the people, places, and resources that make Bloomington, Bloomington, and help you live your best life. At Home in Bloomington. Hello, and welcome to At Home in Bloomington. I'm Realtor Deb Tomorrow. I have a new slogan, Karen.
Oh, yes.
I'm trying it out.
On yourself?
Well, for the show.
Or for the show, okay.
Yeah, where I'm helping you find your house and discover your home.
Oh, I like that.
Does it make sense?
It does make sense.
I'm testing it out. I've got it all over social media, so I'm hoping that
Okay.
Because I thought people were kind of like, why are you doing this show? It doesn't have anything to do with real estate. And I'm like, but it does, because it's about your home. And your home, not just your house, but your home in terms of the community in which you live, and wanting to help people feel more connected.
I feel like now this is where we need to insert a flow chart where you just went through all of that. So people are like, oh, I see. And then a big, bright light bulb at the end.
And if I had a song or something, I think that would help too.
We know people who could create a little ditty.
We do. All right, we'll work on that. So, as usual, I'm joined by the lovely Miss Karen Russell, best-time lender in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, thank you.
And sitting before us is a large group of people. Mm-hmm. There's 3 adults and 1 baby. And so we're kind of, if we're speaking quietly, that's why, because she's napping and I'm afraid to wake her up, although she's very cute. So our introduction today.
Yes.
Last week, you remember this, I ran up to Indianapolis. I had some business things to take care of. And one of my appointments was on the north side of town, like near Carmel, which is terrifying. And then the other was on the south side near Southport, right?
Right.
So when I'm doing this drive, like the time it took me to get from the north side to the south side, I was like, this is unreal. And it made me laugh because we always complain in Bloomington, like, oh, I got to drive to the west side. You know, it's like, oh, that's so far.
Okay. East Siders say that about the West Side, but really, us West Siders say the same thing about having to come over
to the East Side. Okay,
yes.
good.
Like,
so it's equal opportunity. None of us like to cross town. We think it's just a royal pain.
Correct.
But in reality, I mean, it's nothing.
It is nothing down here.
Right. So what I was going to do today was I want to push people to drive a little bit further.
Okay.
It's still nowhere near driving north side, south side, Indianapolis, but I did MapQuest it. And from here to the location from downtown Bloomington to the location we're talking about today is about the same as driving from Greenwood if you lived in Greenwood and you drove downtown Indianapolis.
Okay.
And wouldn't you do that all the time?
Yes.
I mean, I lived in Greenwood and we drove downtown all the time. So it's not that far.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses where we're going?
No.
No? Oh, come on.
No.
No?
No.
We've talked about this place a little bit before. Not the specific place, but no?
No. Okay, it's no. I need some more clues.
That was the only clue I had. I thought it was a pretty good clue. Do you remember my story about the British Prime Minister?
Oh my gosh, Deb, you have so many stories. I'm sitting here trying to remember. Wait a minute. Okay, so it's something nearby. Mm-hmm. I mean, because that means it'd be 20 minutes-ish.
Yep. There you go. Yeah.
25 minutes. Uh-huh. I don't know in what direction. Mm-hmm. So, no. Okay. I know. You're twisting my arm.
I know, right? Well, we did a show. I can't remember. I think it was when we talked with Michelle Pruitt from Uplands Peak Sanctuary, which is over in Freedom. This is not as far as Freedom, but it's over in that direction. But remember we talked about how one of my fun facts about Spencer, Indiana, is that one of the British Prime Minister's mothers was from Spencer, Indiana. Harold Macmillan, who's British Prime Minister. That's a pretty big deal. His mother was was from Spencer. She's buried in Spencer.
That part I remember, but okay. So
anyway, so we're in Spencer.
Okay, we're in Spencer. That's
not far. Any guesses within Spencer?
No.
No?
No.
All right. Well, I would like to welcome Rob and Andrea White, as well as baby Charlotte, and Jane Rubeck, and they are from the Tivoli Theatre in Spencer.
Oh.
Have you ever been to the Tivoli Theatre?
No, I've been past it.
Okay, well, we're going to encourage you
I've been past it.
So the Tivoli is both a movie theater and a live performance theater, but what's really interesting is that it's also nonprofit.
Okay.
But there's more than that. There's a really good story. So I'm going to talk about that today. So welcome.
Thank you.
You're on Santa's naughty list. Not visiting the theater.
I will say, I know that it's been redone. I mean, I don't know how long ago that was, but
we're going to talk about it.
But yeah, so I'm excited.
Okay, so who wants to give us sort of the short history of the theater?
I'm going to turn that over to Rob, Robert, because he is on the Owen County Preservation, which is the one that had the hand in redoing the theater.
Okay.
Short, honey, short.
I know.
I got that.
I was going to reiterate that. But.
The Tivoli Theater was built in 1928 for $45,000.
Wow.
So
that was a lot of money.
Yes, it was built by a well-known sculptor, Ernest Moore Viquesney, who got the idea to put a theater in Spencer when he was in Augustus, Georgia, doing Civil War monuments in the 19-teens. He and his wife ran a movie theater in the evening to make ends meet, and he bought a design plan because there are about 8 or so Tivolis in the United States. They are all different in design, but you could get the floor plan, and so
the decor is probably a little bit
the decor
different,
is tweaked
but the
by
layout.
each individual location.
So I thought that Viquesney is an interesting character in this story because he is also relatively famous. He's more famous than you or I.
Okay.
He's got a Wikipedia entry that I read all about. And so he is a sculptor and was famous for doughboy statues.
Yes. So during or after World War I, he came up with the Spirit of the American Doughboy statue, and there are 148 that remain today.
Around the country.
Okay.
And so a doughboy was a nickname for a World War I soldier.
Okay.
The American World War I
American
soldiers.
World War I soldier. They called them doughboys.
Good to know.
And there's conflicting reasons as to why, so I'll let everyone Google that like I did because I don't have the definitive answer.
So,
but there's a statue on the Owen County Courthouse lawn, as well as there's one in Bloomington.
On the Monroe
but
County.
Bloomington is the World War II version, the Fighting Yank. So,
but I thought that was interesting that here's this guy that's a fairly well-known sculptor, but his family's from Spencer. He grew up in Spencer, so he kind of traveled around and did his art, and then thought, I'm going to settle down and I'm going to build a movie theater.
And you said that there were 8 or 9 floor plans.
Similar theaters.
Similar theaters. Okay.
Still around today.
Okay.
So I don't know how many originally were done.
Gotcha.
But if you just type in Tivoli, you will find them. I think the closest one is in Illinois.
Okay.
We do get phone
Downers
calls
Grove.
Oh, yeah.
They do lots of concerts. People have called and said, I'd like tickets for Adele. We're like, so would we.
Adele. Man, Adele coming to Spencer. Big deal. I thought it was funny that Viquesney he said the Tivoli stood for, this is Viquesney's own little idea. Those are the letters for the Tivoli. So
yeah,
he was trained. Yeah, he was trained. And talk a little bit about the style of how he built it, his decor, because that was his choice.
So it is a Spanish mission, and the auditorium is an extension to the gardens. So there are 6 niches in the auditorium that has a view of the different gardens. Like if you were to walk through that doorway, you would be in another segment of the garden. Initially, they were hanging flower baskets. During the restoration, we had canvases painted so that we weren't having to wash plastic plants.
Yeah.
So,
What are real ones?
but other than that, they are back to where they were. Then our awnings have battle axes. They're by the stage.
And we'll put pictures up for all this because it's really, really cool.
And the awnings on the street have spears, as you would have seen in a small castle that would have been there to show their strength.
Like Spanish Inquisition, conquistadors, that kind of vibe. Yeah.
A lot of people say, drive-ins are like, oh, you get to watch the movies under the stars. But you get that at the theater, too. The Tivoli, when it was built, was a silent theater. But it was built at the end of 28. And in 1929, the talkies were here. Everyone thought they were a fad. However, there were echoing issues, and so felt was rolled over the ceilings to absorb the sound. And it was nailed in place. Well, the nail heads glimmered like the stars.
Oh, awesome.
Not fun.
Yeah.
So when we restored the theater, we had IU astronomy department research what the stars on constellations were on opening night, December 31st, 1928, and we've recreated that in the ceiling of the theater.
Oh, that's
Isn't
awesome.
that cool?
Yeah.
I was telling Eurus that we were out walking the dogs the other night, right that same night after I got back from visiting the theater, and we were looking at the stars because we live kind of out in the country, and we were talking about that. And I was like, I got to tell you what the Tivoli did. And yeah, they figured out what the stars look like if you were standing in that exact location on December 31st, 1928. And if you look up, you can see there's even like a little moon and a couple of little planets up there too. But it's
That's awesome. You could have picked any kind of night sky, or, but to do it on, and you said that was the opening night, December 31st,
1928.
So that's exactly how they were at 9:00 at night.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
And then how many years did the theater show movies?
So when the theater first opened, it did a lot of vaudeville and movies.
Okay.
Movies were not very long back then. And so every night was something different. But it consecutively showed movies from 1928 to 1999. And then it closed due to poor attendance, and it sat empty until April 2013. So,
and then at that point, what was the condition?
So in 1999, there was no heat, so it was not open regularly during the wintertime. When it was open, you had to bring a blanket. And after it closed and there was nothing happening there, the building started to deteriorate. A hole developed over the roof from an attached building that had caught on fire and was torn away. Part of it was left, and it would hold water, and it eventually destroyed the footer in the back. That hole became an opening door for the pigeons of Owen County.
So if you were driving past the theater during this time, what did it look like on the outside? Because when you talked about how poor attendance and then people stopped coming, it reminds me of my hometown. Same thing happened with the movie theater that was around when my dad was there. You know what I mean? When he was a kid. Same thing kind of happened. And as you would drive by, you would see that even the outside of the building wasn't being kept up as well. And it just was starting to kind of fade away. Was that the same for...
So the marquee really started to get a lot of damage. In the 70s, they had switched it from the square marquee to a triangular marquee that everyone recognized with the Art Deco style. And it just got to where the whole inside within the frame was falling down, and the city made the preservation company, which purchased it in late 2005, made them take that down. We took it down to the frame. And then they were worried that the frame was too heavy, could pull the facade down, so the whole frame was eventually taken down. As far as the stucco exterior, that held on fairly well. We're not sure how. And no one ever vandalized it, sitting empty.
Which says a lot for Spencer.
Yeah. So it had two huge picture windows with just for sale signs in it. And it sat for sale for a long time. And however, on the inside, from the water coming in, the stage collapsed down into the basement. There was a little retail shop. It was a beauty salon that was attached. It's part of the building. They could hear the pigeons flying inside and bumping the walls. And the first year that we had possession of the theater, we closed the roof hole. We had Turner Woodard, who owns Washaw Lake and Cabins. They're in Poland, Indiana. Gave us somewhere around $15,000 to fix the roof above the stage. Then we had the pigeons removed.
So then they were
alive
trapped.
and not alive.
Oh my goodness.
Because a lot of them couldn't figure out how to get back out.
Oh, sure, for sure.
And so the biggest thing was the cleanup from all the damage of the pigeon
damage. So the Owen County Preservation Group took ownership of the theater in 2005, and then it took a while for restoration to begin.
Yes. So our intention was never to own a theater. There were several groups who were trying to save the theater, but none of them had been established long enough. And so because we had been established since 1990, we could get a loan.
Okay.
And so we secured the loan for the theater, and then that last group never could get formulated. So we decided, well, now we own a theater, we've got to do something.
Right.
But the funding, we didn't have the assets for that. We tried to get an Okra grant. That would have been for $450,000 to restore the theater. And a couple times we thought we had a buyer for the theater, but those fell through both times. So most of our money was just spent in cleaning the theater.
Keeping it from further deterioration.
So the roof got fixed above the stage. A lot of trash that had just built up. Because they would open it for little things once in a while. Someone come in and do a performance or something before the stage had fully collapsed. And so things were just left behind from some of that stuff. And so there was still a rental apartment for a while above the lobby.
Okay.
And when we removed the appliances and stuff, you could see down into the lobby from where the stove was. There was no floor. So we don't know what kept the stove from falling down.
So what happened then, I guess, flash forward a few years to the restoration, and you all were lucky enough to, Cook got involved.
So we were at the point, we had the theater for 8 years. We had extended all of our resources, and our loan was due. And we were going to default. Now, we had a loan through Indiana Landmarks, which is the largest preservation organization in the state. And they had worked with us this entire time. So our president at the time, Deb Jordan, had spoke with Marsh Davis, who is the president and CEO of Indiana Landmarks. And he said, send me an email on what you need, and I'll see what we can do. So her husband, Les Jordan, the treasurer, sent an email up to Marsh Davis, and a week or so later, Carl Cook happened to be in the office, who was on their board. Most people know the Cook family from the restoration of French Lick in West Baden. And Carl was like, I need a project. We don't have anything to work on. And Marsh goes, well, come into my office. I got this letter.
And what's so perfect about it is that Cook has a facility in Spencer, and they employ a lot of people in Spencer. So doing something in Spencer, and I know that they are always having talks about they want to keep their employees in Spencer. They don't want them to feel like they have to go live in Bloomington. They want them to have everything that they need there in Spencer. So I think it was, in the end of the day, a really natural fit, and they certainly were the pockets that were needed to get the job done, because it ended up being a really, really huge job. So,
of course, you've heard all the, what it used to be like, and now we have this beautiful theater that is fully restored and is just amazing. Every time someone walks in, they're just like, they can't believe how beautiful
gorgeous.
it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we come back from break, I want to talk about now future, since the Owen County Preservation is bringing the past into the future. I probably, did I say that right? Probably not, but pretty close.
Linking the past
there you go.
to the future.
All right, linking the past to the future. So we're going to talk about the present and the future of the things that are going on there, because, again, deal of the century, ding, 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 Karen, tell your husband. So we're going to talk about all of those things.
One quick thing from the past. The theater was the first building with air conditioning in Spencer.
Wow.
It had a swamp cooler that blew cool mist.
Wow. It's probably not so good, though, in humid Indiana summers. Speaking from a home inspection point of view. So. All right, well, we come back and we're going to talk about what's going on and how you can get some good deals and some really cool stuff going on there. So stick around. You are at home in Bloomington.
Hi, this is Karen Rastel with Ruoff Home Mortgage. Did you know that you may qualify for a renovation loan to make updates and improvements on your current house or to purchase a fixer-upper you can turn into your dream home? Apply now for a free, no-strings-attached pre-approval to learn your options. Contact me today at 812-606-7653 to get started. Ruoff Home Mortgage is an Indiana corporation licensed by the Indiana Department of Financial Institutions. This is not an offer for extension of credit or a commitment to lend. All loans must satisfy company underwriting guidelines, equal housing lender, NMLS number 141868.
This is your Real Estate Realist. Practical advice on buying and selling real estate based on my experience closing over 800 home sales. Do you already own a home? Maybe you've been thinking about upsizing or downsizing or moving out to the country or moving into the city. If you have, you've probably been thinking a lot about it, but there's a good chance you don't know where to start. What are your options when you are both a buyer and a seller? Well, don't get overwhelmed. Let me help you get started. Number one, start with your realtor. Call me. I can help you understand all of your options and we can pick the best plan A, plan B, and maybe even a plan C for your family. Having multiple options and plans keeps your stress level manageable. Number two, we'll want to bring your lender into the conversation really quickly as your financial picture will dictate which options are available to you. What can you afford? Can you buy without selling first? Can you use the equity in your current home as down payment? These are all questions we'll need the lender's help answering as we prepare your game plan. And number three, and probably the most valuable advice, be prepared for a little discomfort, whether that's moving into temporary housing or having 2 mortgage payments for a little while. More than 80% of the time, the timing is not perfect, and there is a little risk and a little discomfort involved. But surround yourself with a team to guide you through. That helps a lot. For more information on being a buyer and a seller at the same time, listen to my Real Estate Today podcast number 63. You can find it on iTunes, my YouTube channel, and at www.athomeinbloomington.com.
My name is Joe Reinhardt, and Deb Tomorrow is my realtor. Deb helped us to sell a property that we had previously listed for which we were unable to even generate an offer. Deb's responsiveness, professionalism, and her aggressive marketing strategy led to multiple full-price offers for our listing. And that's why I think Deb should be your realtor too. And now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to At Home in Bloomington. Before we get back to our guests, I do want to throw back to, not very far back. Oh, Charlotte's awake. Throw back to episode 50 when we talked with Michelle from the Beaumont House, because the restoration that went into that project, very, very similar and reminiscent of the restoration that went into this project. And so those are both, if you like watching those transformation shows, on HGTV or whatever, these are 2 local transformations, and they've got pictures, both Beaumont House and the Tivoli Theater, pictures on their website. You can kind of follow along with the restoration. It's amazing, and respect to the history, which I think is, we all know how I feel about that. So check that out. That's episode 50 of At Home in Bloomington. All right, so we're going to get back at it. One of the things we were asking of our break that is interesting, I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's just interesting to me that this is a nonprofit running a movie theater that shows first run movies.
Exactly.
So right now we're recording this in December of 2019. Frozen 2 is the big thing. Coming up is Star Wars. You're going to have all of that.
Absolutely.
Is that unique? Do you know of any other theaters around, like nonprofit theaters around like that?
There are some. The closest one that I think runs first run movies like us is down in North Vernon. It is the Park Theater. But one that does all throwback movies is in Franklin, the Art Craft Theater.
Oh, yeah, I know that. Yep. So I thought that was really interesting because I'm guessing that you had to learn a lot about the movie industry and how and that also drives a lot of your budget. But what I want to talk about is the cost, because we mentioned the deal of the century. I know, Karen, your husband's very budget conscious.
Yes,
so I don't know if he's aware of the Tivoli, but what does it cost, say, a family of 4 to attend a movie at the Tivoli?
With prices being an adult is $5 and children 12 and under are just $3. You can then go to the concession stand that also has affordable prices and get a large, virtually all you can eat popcorn,
bottomless popcorn
and a large drink. 2 large drinks for a special price of $9. Great thing is, though, that you can take those back. You can take up to 2 items back and get a refill for $1.
Wow.
We'll also go ahead and give you some cups with lids. Encourage you to take cups with lids for the kids and napkins and so forth. No longer do you have to cough at the count of 3 when you open up your soda can.
Right.
But actually treat your kids for about $26.
$26. And Karen, have you been to a movie? I have no idea what movies cost.
That's about the tickets.
Yeah. It is about the tickets. Thanksgiving night, I did go with my sister up in the Avon area and saw, it's a beautiful, whatever. Mr. Rogers movie.
Yeah, but, neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you. And I hadn't been to a movie theater in a long time. And it was, I think, $12 to get in, and I just bypassed the whole concession.
$12 just for the tickets.
Right. Just for the ticket.
So if you had a family of 4, it would probably be almost $50 just for the ticket.
And I was joking during break. I was like, so wait, I don't have to go and donate plasma or, or make money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's awesome.
A family of 4 for $40 is going to get, everyone's going to get concessions and everyone got tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Perfect.
And then it can get even better, because tell us what goes on Thursdays.
On Thursdays, we have what we call throwback movies. And these are movies that have been sponsored by local organizations, businesses, even individuals. And they are paying for the sponsorship or the rights to have that movie here. And we get to offer that to the public for free. So on Thursdays, you can come see a movie that is not a new release, but has been maybe out on DVD for a while, and get to see that for free, and then just have your concession cost.
That's awesome. And how do people find out about what movies are playing, and how can they get tickets?
We have several different options. You can always call our movie line or the office, but then if you're an online person, we have a website, Facebook, Instagram.
You were saying, like, on Facebook, you create events for all the different shows, so you can like that and mark that you're interested, share it with your friends.
Put it on your calendar, so whenever it gets closer, you can say, oh yeah, that's tonight. I
nice reminder.
See that movie.
Yeah. And then people can go to the website. Is that where they can buy tickets?
Yes, they can buy tickets online. There is just a small dollar fee for convenience, but when you're only paying $5 for a ticket, that's a small charge for your online ticket.
And then just knowing that, you have a ticket.
Exactly. Yes.
How far in advance? Because can you buy for Star Wars, which is not coming out for a couple of weeks?
Yes, you certainly can. Usually, because we are a single screen theater, we do keep movies for multiple weeks. So, for example, with Frozen, we had that for Frozen 2. We just recently had that and had it for 3 weeks in a row. And so, but with Star Wars coming up, you can get your tickets now for at least the first 2 weekends that we are showing it. And we will have it for 4 weekends total.
Wow. And what are the typical movie times?
So on Fridays, we have a 7 o'clock showing. And then on Saturdays, we have a 2 o'clock matinee as well as a 7 o'clock showing, and Sundays at 2 o'clock. And during special events such as Star Wars, whenever the kids are on break right now, we do also open up Friday matinees as well.
Nice.
So we have extra showings that you just need to check our Facebook and website for those extra show times.
And then on the Saturday afternoon showings, are those typically sensory sensitive shows?
When we have the show multiple weekends, the second or third run that we have it, we will do a sensory sensitive Saturday on the matinee, which basically means that we're bringing the lights up a little bit, the volume down a little bit, and we will have that open caption. Now, every Saturday matinee, we do open caption, meaning that we have the words at the bottom of the screen that if you have hearing impaired or sensitive, things like that, then you see those words at the bottom of the screen to help with enjoying the movie.
Yeah, and I didn't know that you all did that, and I don't know because I don't really watch a lot of movies, but I've been saying since I've been getting more involved with the senior community that's something that the senior community really needs is that caption on the screen. I think could be really useful. So it's nice to have that. Okay, so and what other things are going on there besides the movies? Because that's not all. I mean, you've got stuff going on there.
Yeah, we have
many days a week.
Definitely. In addition to our movies, 4 times a year, our local civic theater will do a live production. Right now, we're getting ready to do it. The civic theater is doing a Christmas story. Mm-hmm. Yes, sorry, it's one of those Christmas ones.
I know, right? Yeah, but this is the fun one.
One of the favorites.
With the Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah. So we usually do those about once a quarter. And then we also have schools that actually come over and do theater productions as well. So the charter school in Ellettsville,
Seven Oaks.
Seven Oaks, yes. They will come and do a production that, and then also
Murder Mysteries.
Murder Mystery dinners. We have those.
Fun.
So you can buy tickets for our Viquesney room and have a meal and then try to figure out who has murdered.
That sounds fun. So I love that this provides not just opportunities to see movies, but it's providing Owen County, especially the kids, through the theater options, an opportunity to explore, maybe an interest that they wouldn't otherwise get many opportunities to. And I think the civic theater is big there, and there's a lot of kids involved in that.
Certainly not in a town the size of Spencer.
Yeah.
I know one of the fun things that we get to offer as well is every summer in June and July, we offer a free movie on Wednesdays during the morning hours that kids can come and see. So it gives the moms something to do during that summer break, and the kids get to come see a movie that was just released the year before.
Great. And then you also, people can rent out the theater for weddings, or what kind of private events have you had there?
We've had at least 6 weddings.
Okay.
And of course, they've ranged in large groups to small groups. Our auditorium does hold 286 guests. We have permanent seats for 286. And we have a few additional seats as well. You can also rent out the balcony area, which is a private rental for the viewing of that show for 12 guests, and that includes a popcorn drink and your admission tickets. We have also had, our local library will bring in some live productions, like recreations of a particular historical.
I was going to say a children's book. I was just sitting there thinking to see like a Dr. Seuss book come to life, on stage.
That would be really cool.
That would be really cool. Sorry.
Yeah, but like they do like a historical person or something like that. So,
Right.
And we also have a meeting room that you can rent out for small groups and things like that.
Wonderful. One of the things that has nothing to do with anything, but we have to bring it up because Karen is a fan, is ghosts.
Oh, yes.
And you've had some people, and this isn't to scare anyone at all, but it's just sort of an interesting.
Is there there's
a little bit of it,
yes. We have had that activity known. Some of our volunteers have actually even ran into ghosts in the hallways and things like that. So yeah, if you don't like ghosts, don't go to the basement by yourself.
Right.
But
one of the funny stories that I think Rob was telling me when we were touring was that there's a gentleman who does some cleanup and things like that, and he's there. Was his name John?
His name is John, yes.
And so sometimes they'll come in the morning and see the vacuum cleaner just sort of abandoned in the middle because it's like he saw something and he said, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's there in the evenings by himself afterwards.
This is so intriguing. But would this history, this known, you might see something, is that in public spots, or is that where if you were volunteering, like you mentioned the basement or something, is that
it's in public spots as well. We have a couple of volunteers that they have taken photographs of like the back of our auditorium that has like something there when there's not something there. We like to jokingly say if something goes wrong that Betty's been in the house and done something because Viquesney's late wife's name was Betty, and so that's who we say
Yeah, he had.
Still,
I learned this through Wikipedia. He had 2 wives, and they both passed away. One passed away, and then he remarried, and she also passed away, and it was very devastating for him. So yes, it's very possible that they are hanging out. So a little bit interesting. So we mentioned, Karen, I think you mentioned volunteers. So that is the only way you can keep this thing going as a nonprofit, to keep these crazy low ticket prices. So what are the volunteer opportunities, and are there opportunities for anybody who's listening?
Yes. So our theater is ran by volunteers. We just have a few paid staff employees, and then pretty much all your movies are ran by volunteers. Volunteers from who's running basically the theater for that particular movie. And then we have volunteers from concessions to the movie ticket takers to even the person that when we have a balcony rental, they wait on our balcony guests.
I know, the balcony butler.
Yes. Yes, that is a volunteer. That's usually a teen volunteer. So that's an opportunity for the teens to get involved. Nice. And then, whenever we have other things such as the murder mysteries, and if we got something going on, we've got a spot for the volunteers.
How many volunteers do you have on your books, do you think?
We usually send out about 200 emails every week.
Okay.
But
then you have there's sort of your standard Friday night crew and your standard Saturday afternoon crew, and they're pretty tight and enjoy working with each other.
Yeah, that you'll see at the theater.
Yeah, which is so important and so vital.
But even on occasion, although they may have signed up to be the third Saturday of the month, they'll have something up with family, and then we get a substitute for them. It's no problem.
Yeah. And that is something to point out too, that not only as individuals can you volunteer, but as organizations you can. We have several organizations that they volunteer as a group, either as to offset using our meeting room for their meetings, or just because they want to give back to the community. So there's multiple opportunities. And usually whenever, as the house manager, you go up on the stage and give announcements beforehand, and I'll usually take Charlotte with me when I'm working. And so I like to say that you can volunteer at any age, because she's only 4 months old.
There you go. And then you also utilize some kids from some of the high schools to do work and sort of a work program, which I thought that was a great idea too.
Yes, we have at least 3 kids that come in during the week. They will help with some different projects, anywhere from simply changing the movie posters on the outside of our building to helping us do some more deep cleaning, that we can make sure that our facility is nice and clean for everybody. They do things as easy as cleaning our seats that the children can sit in, so that we're making sure that everybody stays healthy when they come to visit us. As Jane likes to say, your feet don't stick to the floor when you come to visit us.
That is very, very true. I do love too, a little fun fact here, there are 3 original seats up front. The original chairs, and then the rest are kind of reproductions, but a little bit more to today's standards, because they have cup holders and the seats kind of bounce back up.
But the 3 original seats, though, can they be utilized, or are they just there as part of?
No, they can be used.
They are part of the seats we use.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting to see and to kind of walk through. The other thing, I don't think we mentioned this when we were kind of talking about the theater, and this will be up in the pictures that we show, but there are, on either side of the stage, there are 2 sort of, they're like Rapunzel towers, kind of, where you can Romeo and Juliet, and you can go up a ladder. So for theater productions, it can make it really interesting. But there's just all these fun little nooks and crannies that you just don't get in today's industrial concrete block theaters. So you feel like you're sitting there, and you feel like there's a life, and you feel that connection, and it makes the movie going experience, in my opinion, just much more
richer.
Yeah, dramatic, It's just really, really cool. So I wanted to, Jane shared something with us over break that was a new fact for us, which is the difference between, there's 2 different ways to spell theater. One is R-E and one is E-R at the end. I always assumed that it was just, one's a British spelling and one is an Americanized spelling, but Jane said, no, that's not the case. So tell us what the difference is.
Theater, when it ends in an RE, means that they do more than just movies there. They can have live productions, concerts, things of that nature.
Yeah, and that's what this is. So it's a great center for community that offers a lot more. Movies are great. It's a great reason to kind of be your first reason to go to the Tivoli and to start following the Tivoli. But there's a lot more going on. And I just want to congratulate all of you for all your hard work in bringing this back to life, because it could be a sad hole that people drive by and think what once was, and instead it's something we can all participate in. And if I could make just
a really quick note, we also welcome children that you may not think are old enough to volunteer. Well-behaved children, please, with the escort of a parent or guardian of some kind until we know what we're working with. But to me, an awesome accomplishment would be to spark something within a young child's life, whether or not it be live theater or music production or screenwriting or set design. And have them get some real job experience when they're young, so that when they're 15, 16 and mom and dad say, okay, it's time for a job, they can have some nice references to build upon.
Right. Absolutely. So let me just finish up with all the important information numbers. So there's the movie line to find out what's going on. That's 812-714-8069. SpencerTivoli.org is the website. You have a text club, right, that you can join. You have Instagram, you have Facebook, and you've got an email newsletter that people can sign up for as well. So there's lots and lots of ways to stay on top of what's going on out there. Remember, it's about a 20-minute drive. There's a new brew pub that's open right next door. So dinner and a movie. I have a house for sale just a couple blocks away.
Restaurant.
Yeah, there's a Thai restaurant. So there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Deb, before the theater reopened, there was nothing except law offices on the downtown square.
Yeah.
We now have 3 retail shops, 3 restaurants, a candy store. A couple of our civic organizations, the Community Foundation, Tourism, have all relocated to the square.
Oh, that's
all because
wonderful.
People could see the potential after the theater opened.
Yeah. That's
and McCormick's Creek State Park, just 2 miles away.
Yep, just right there. So you can really make a weekend of it. And the candy shop is featured on QVC. Fudge Bits.
That's right.
Fudjo Bits or something like that, but they look divine.
Right.
So anyways, lots of good stuff going on in Spencer. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Charlotte, for keeping it to a minimum. If you were wondering, that was Charlotte. She woke up from her nap, so you kind of hear her in the background a little bit, which is nice. So bring your kids to the theater.
Absolutely.
All right.
And just one last thing. Don't forget, Tivoli spelled backwards is I love it. So we hope that as you come into the theater, you may experience new things, but hopefully as you leave, you will love it.
Awesome.
Love it.
Leave on that note. All right. Thank you so much, and tune in. We will be back with another episode. You are at home in Bloomington.
Got a show idea? I'd love to hear it. And be sure to contact me for all your real estate needs and questions too. You can email me at deb@realrealestatetoday.com and follow me on Facebook at Deb Tomorrow Realtor. To contact Karen Rastel for all your mortgage needs, call 812-606-7653 or log on to ruoff.com and go to the Bloomington Center. Thanks to all the Bloomington people who make production of At Home in Bloomington possible. Digital guru Cynthia Hogan at Monster Digital Marketing for website design and hosting, and video genius Wes Lasher in the production house for engineering the show.